Good morning, Counselor.
Good morning, Sean, and how are you on this lovely sunny day?
It's a nice day out. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, well, you know what? We're very, very busy at City Hall. Yesterday's council meeting, today being Tuesday, Monday council meeting went from early in the morning until about 9:30 last night, talking about the development of the city of Hamilton and what we want it to look like up to the year 2051, which has been required by the province for all municipalities to provide input. And we did have a considerable amount of public input over the last couple of months. So it was a long day, but it's an important topic. What do we want our city to look like? And especially knowing that our current population base is around 580,000, projected to go, up to about 760,000 by the year 2051, if not a little bit sooner. So
We have,
anyway, but other than that, I'm fine.
we have a lot of questions about what Flamborough and Waterdown will look like, but we'll get to those in a minute. But
Yep.
first, let's talk about vaccines. Are they rolling out in Flamborough? Are they rolling out in Waterdown? What's the current status?
Well, we had a Board of Health meeting a week ago yesterday, and I was very disappointed because at the time, Harry Howell Arena, which is a pop-up vaccine clinic, by the way, so it's not an established site that is going to be a continual, dispensing of vaccines. It's a pop-up site, and at the time, it had been canceled, and we had a day where a few people did show up for their second vaccine, which had been booked when Harry Howell was opened 3 or 4 weeks prior to that. So, I kind of, raised that issue and railed a bit on the fact that Flamborough residents and Waterdown residents were not being served. I didn't feel they were being served adequately. So this week, the good news is that Harry Howell, what is the date today? Is the 30th. So Harry Howell is going to be open with a pop-up vaccine as of tomorrow, I believe, and going until Monday, which is Easter Monday. So
Is it
yeah.
70 and over, or do you know the age and how people book?
Yes, so it is now 70 plus.
Okay.
So if you're 70 years and older, excuse me, you can, and it is by phone. So to book for your vaccine at Harry Howell, you need to call in and have your health card ready. And the number I'm going to give you is 905-974-9848. And it's option number 7 is what you need to hit. And then you'll get someone, a live person, who will be able to help you.
Okay, excellent. And we'll switch gears. Unfortunate incident in Waterdown, I think last week, with the random stabbing. Any update on that? Do they have anybody in custody?
So the difficulty, and that was horrible, by the way. And I feel so badly for the people who were the victims of that. I'm sure they were traumatized. I mean, the community has certainly been traumatized, but I will tell you that there is an active investigation. Police do not share any information with counselors on an active investigation. There has certainly been an increase in presence, which I very much appreciate. And I've been talking to the police on a regular basis, and they are actively working on not only this stabbing, and it was random, by the way. It was not targeted, it was random, which in some cases makes it even worse. It's very hard to get our kind of heads around that. But we've also had the vandalism at the cemetery, and they are actively investigating that as well as the car break-ins. And with the car break-ins, I can tell you that there has been a linkage made to the ones happening in Waterdown and also happening in Burlington and also down in Niagara. And so when there's a rash of break-ins, it's usually not in one area. It's been targeted in, I believe, the Hollybush area and maybe one other part of Waterdown. But and there's been a number of them. So I think they had 20 that were reported altogether.
Okay. Those are just the ones.
And I just want to reiterate again.
Right?
What's that?
Those are just the 20 that are reported, I'm sure.
Yes. So what I wanted to say was, please, please, please report anything. If you see somebody poking around cars, if anything that happens, if your car was unlocked and you know that someone has been through it, please call and report it. The police don't need to come to your home for that instance, but they need to know so that they can see if there's a pattern. And that is what is so important. If they don't have the numbers to show that there's criminal activity going on, then they don't know that there is criminal activity going on.
Right. We will get into some of the Facebook questions. So first questions, can the councillor come up with a made in Waterdown parking master plan with parking on one side of the street only alternating bi-monthly? I would like to see no overnight parking enforcement on the thoroughfares, Holly Bush bypass. Was that 3 questions or 1? I'm not sure.
Well, I will tell you that yes, all of the parking, and we're working on a transportation master plan right now, which is looking to be completed by the fall, and that is exactly what happens. It's going to be made and watered down in every part of our municipality. Any kind of parking arrangements, parking plans, it's really based on what's happening in the community and what is best for that part of the community. Now, unfortunately, with COVID, the city has really relaxed ticketing and bylaw enforcement because people are home. So normally, a car wouldn't be parked there for 12 hours to 24 hours. If someone's going to work, they would be gone for most of the day. And so there wouldn't be any kind of an infraction there. Because people are home more, they're noticing more, and they're complaining more and bringing issues forward, and in some cases very justified. But I will tell you that the big concern is speeding, and that has been a challenge right across the entire city. There is no reason for it. There is no reason for anyone to drive down a residential street and go over the speed limit. Speed limit is 40. In some cases, it's 50. If it's 50, go 40. For heaven's sakes, we've got children living on the street. Use your head. It just makes me so furious when people speed down a street because there's no reason for it.
All right. More with traffic. Wondering if the light on Highway 6 at Millgrove Side Road and 6 Concession East would ever go back to having an advanced green. This might not be something the council controls, but maybe give an input.
So anything on Highway 6 is under provincial jurisdiction. So the city does not control any of the lights that are on Highway 6. So if there is a request to make a change to any of those lights, I would send it to MPP Donna Skelly. Her office is very, very receptive. They work closely. Her staff works very closely with my staff. And, and because there's a lot of shared issues that happen. There's all the streets that come up and meet. Highway 6 are in my jurisdiction. Highway 6 is in her jurisdiction. So we do work together on that. But I would encourage people to reach out and just go on the computer, Google her website and her office, and they'll be happy to help you.
Okay. Will the Clapperson's Avenue open before we celebrate Canada's bicentennial in 2067?
I wish I had an answer for that. I feel like I've been saying for the past 2 years that 3 more months it's going to be open. It's still the same situation until there is the developer has to build a stoplight, full stoplight at Parkside and Clapperson Drive, and they need to put in streetlights. I don't know what the challenges are there. It is up to the developer. So, until you see stoplights on Parkside, I can't give you an answer. So we can keep asking the same question, but it's not going to be open until you get the stoplights on Parkside and Clapperson, and that's up to the developer.
And can the developer just drag their feet on issues like roads and parks and hey, we'll do it?
Well, there's a lot more involved there. That is a business park. It's not just one street. There are several streets that will be built in there. And right now, I think there's one building at Stryker and another one that is partially built, which is Burlington Innovation is going to be moving in there. But there's going to be about 20 different businesses in there. So it's a very complex business park. And the city cannot approve the opening of Clapison until some of the other issues within that business park, the stoplight and the streetlights being one or two, we can't approve it until it's done. It's a very complex area.
And then kind of what you were talking about before, municipal taxes will be out soon, and with many in the community are frustrated with the vandalism, stunt driving, car break-ins happening in the community. Does it take more serious crime like the stabbing to get more police presence in Waterdown? Somebody asked.
Well, I mean, it's certainly, it's an unfortunate situation. And as I've just said, the police are working on it. And it is very worrisome that it was random. With the investigation still going on, I have no idea, none of us do, as to what the circumstances were. As far as I'm concerned, regardless of the circumstances, it's unacceptable. Waterdown is such a safe area. And we've had murders over the years, as we know, with the Musitanos. We've had young people shot, but they were all targeted, and each one is horrific. But again, the crime stats are extremely low in Waterdown, but this one is worrisome, and so you are going to see more police presence. And I will say once again, just to remind you that we have $16 million, which we were able to get approved in the budget for the new joint police and fire station, which is going to be built. And I'm hoping we can have shovels in the ground by 2022. We're trying to find a location for it. That's been our biggest challenge, is finding a location for it.
Another question, although I know Carlisle Road is a main road, can there not be a weight limit? The quarry trucks coming through the village shake our house to the core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a problem. I live up in Carlisle, and I'm here now. And the trucks going up and down the road are awful. But this transportation master plan that I was talking about earlier, one of the things that we are looking at is the truck routes. There's a lot of truck routes, excuse me, around throughout Flamborough and across the city. It is a tough one too, because we also have the stoplight on Carlisle Road at Highway 6. And so for trucks to access Highway 6, they need to go down a truck route that connects to Highway 6 that has a stoplight that is safe. So, we have the 6th concession, we have Carlisle Road, and Dundas Street. So it's really being looked at. I was hoping that the traffic study would have been done by now. I just talked to staff about it the other day, getting caught up on the whole secondary plan for Waterdown, which is, what kind of buildings are we going to allow, our heritage district, our inventory, and the traffic master plan was part of that for Waterdown. So now I'm hearing it's going to be the fall. Yeah.
Would it be possible to get a 3-way stop at Parkside and Boulding? And I guess on that note, if somebody wants a stoplight or a stop sign, or maybe even speed bumps, I guess, can we answer that all in the same, like if somebody would like a stop sign at an intersection, or maybe speed bumps or a stoplight, what's the process to do that?
Yeah, so I'll go to the process and remind me to come back to it. But Boulding and Parkside, that is part of the bypass, and it is under construction right now. Anyone who's driven down that section of Parkside, you've seen Union Gas is doing some work there. Bell's doing some work. Cogeco's going to do some work. CNCP is changing the train track access. There will actually be a stoplight going in next year, when all of that area, that section of Parkside, is going to be widened to 4 lanes. And so it's going to be under construction. The tender is going out next week or the week after. Right now, the requests for pre-qualifications of contractors went out 2 weeks ago. once the contractors respond to that, we want to make sure that they can handle the job because it's quite an extensive job. So it is going to be from Avonside, widening of Parkside to 4 lanes. And where you come to the tracks, it will then cut up through 4 lanes up through Conan's property there and go in behind Alexander Place and over to Center Road. That whole section is going to be heavily under construction, probably later in the summer and the fall. And right now they've cleared all the trees. They're still doing a lot of work. So if you just take a drive down Parkside, it's under construction now. We will be replacing, there's going to be new sidewalks, a multi-use walking path, new boulevards, new street lights. Yay, finally we're going to get street lights for you people on that section of Parkside because it's really been quite dangerous. So Boulding is going to, we won't be putting a stop sign there because we're going to have stop lights at Robson Road and Parkside, which is going to regulate the traffic to allow easier access. There's also going to be a roundabout where Avonside joins into Parkside. So there is a half roundabout there now, which some people ask me, why is it such a strange design? Well, because it's half of a roundabout. The other half of the roundabout will be built with the improvements to Parkside Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, and then coming back to the process.
Right.
The question was, what is the process to getting a stop sign?
Yeah, or even speed bumps in an area if somebody wants to.
Right. So what you need to do is send me an email. Send me an email, and then, there is a requirement. If you want a speed bump, if you want stop signs put in, there is a requirement that a survey be done of all the people who live on that street, whatever that street is. Because we can't go ahead and do things because of 1 or 2 people. If there's 60 people that live on that street and you do something because of 2 people, and then you find out that 68 of them didn't want it, So we don't want to get into that issue. That's why we do surveys of the street, and staff will put the surveys together. We'll get the information. Traffic staff will do a review. But generally speaking, if for speed humps and for any kind of a stop sign intersection to be put in, it's going to take a good year from start to finish. Okay. So it's not going to happen right away. I think right now, staff are looking at surveying the residents on Spring Creek because there has been several requests coming in asking for alternate side parking. Right now, there's 2-sided parking. And, it is a proven point that if you have 2-sided parking, it generally slows people down. Now, they may be going too fast to begin with, and, that's a problem. But if you take away 1-side parking, you are creating a wide open street for people to go even faster on, and that could be even more dangerous. But alternating, I mean, that is something we will definitely look at for any street. So, yeah.
And then anything that can be done about the constant power outages and internet problems in Waterdown.
So, well, internet problems, yeah. Right now, Bell is laying their orange cable for high-speed internet. I had an update, I think about 3 weeks ago from the folks, and they are doing the east end of Waterdown and parts of Flamborough and Carlisle, and they've done Ancaster. Ancaster is now done, so they will be moving more into the rural area. As far as the electrical outages, that's Electra, and I would suggest that you call them and have a discussion. I don't know what the issue is, with the power outages. I do know that with Ontario Hydro, who is above the 5th concession, Electra is all of Waterdown up to the 5th concession and some homes on the 5th, and Ontario Hydro is all above that. And I do know that Ontario Hydro has been replacing equipment, which can, mean that there's a bit of a downtime in power. But I don't know what the reason would be for Electra.
And cyclist issues. Lots of people cycling out right now, maybe more bike lanes or bike lanes.
Yes, yes. And thank you. I really want to raise this, particularly in the rural areas. I'm not sure if it's just earlier this year because the weather has been so on and off. Nice, nice, not nice, nice, not nice. Today's nice. But there's been groups of cyclists, as we typically get out in Flamborough, who are riding on the concessions and particularly on Center Road. And I am starting to get a lot of complaints from people because they are riding 3 and 4 abreast across a laneway. And the bylaw is you must be single file. So I'm pleading with you, please, as a cyclist, I am very concerned about the safety aspect of this. And for those who are driving, to slow down, but please, cyclists, ride single file. That's what the bylaw is, and that's what, we want to keep you safe. I see it all the time. In fact, on Sunday, when we were heading down to do some grocery shopping, and there was about 6 or 7, and they were right across the laneway. And they can't go nearly as fast as the speed limit. At least these groups weren't. So please, single file, and let's just, everybody is suffering with COVID right now, and people are getting very impatient, and we just don't want to see any accidents. We want to keep everybody safe. So please.
And a question from one of the local gym owners. Does the local medical officer of health have any authority to, I don't know if overrule is the right word, the provincial, because right now we're in gray lockdown and obviously gyms
Yes.
are closed. Does the local medical officer of health have any authority to say?
No, the rules are really set by the province. And, there is no alternative. Now they are, our chief medical officer of health is consulted, as in I believe there's 34 public health areas across the province of Ontario. And so each one there is, consultation with the chief Ontario medical officer of health. And I know there seems to be some confusion sometimes with what's going on in Hamilton and what's being announced and what actually happens. But no, the rules are set by the province, and we must follow them.
It's just
And when I say we, the public health, although they don't even answer to council, right? I mean, we pay their salaries, but they are legislated under the healthcare legislation of the province.
It's interesting when we live so close to other areas, like you could go 10 minutes in either direction and go to a gym, go indoor dining, go shopping. Like, do they just think people will stay? Can't go across the border.
I'm as confused as you are, and so are many people, and getting quite fed up, quite honestly. I just think this has been handled so badly. I won't say any more than that, but yeah, it's very frustrating, and particularly for dance studios and gyms and people,
right?
businesses that are following protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the outbreaks happening?
Yes.
Let's get people vaccinated. And that's a whole other issue, right? Is the delivery of the vaccines. And part of the reason Harry Howell was canceled is because we didn't have vaccines. Now we do have vaccines. So hopefully, but if if you get the opportunity, if your time comes up, get vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated yet, neither is my husband. I want to get everybody vaccinated. I'm not in the age group yet that can get the vaccines. So, but even my sons, Justin and Jordan, they were saying they're at the end of the line. They said that the younger ones are going to be a long way off before they get vaccinated.
Hopefully it ramps up. And then Theodore Tugboat, you want to talk about that?
Yes. So some good news, and I'm sure that there's an awful lot of people out there, especially anyone with children, who knows about Theodore Tugboat. And Theodore Tugboat is coming to Hamilton, and I just want to give a huge shout out to McKeel Marine. They're a business that's been down at our harbor for well over 100 years. In fact, I think they're coming up to like 125 years. It's a family business. Blair McKeel and his wife and family. They own the business. They do a lot of business throughout the Great Lakes. It's a very, very community-minded business, and they have actually purchased Theodore Tugboat from Halifax. And I believe it will be arriving later this summer. So that will just be exciting to have that down at our Hamilton Harbor. People can go for, a walk down at the lakefront and or the harbor, I should say. Take your kids down there. There's also great playgrounds and walking paths all along the waterfront at the foot of Bay Street. So I can't wait. I just, but I just hope that we can, get out and go see it with this whole COVID mess that's happening.
Hopefully.
So,
Anything else we'd like to chat about?
I just want to take a quick look here. Someone did ask me, any idea when CNCP will be closing Dundas Street to fix the bridge near Mill Street that's going east? So that that bridge and it's a mess. I mean, when you drive across, you bump up. But it is owned by CNCP, and it is slated to be replaced. I believe now they're looking at 2023. Once the bypass is completed, because they do need to be able to divert traffic. So then they will be closing down Dundas Street for 8 months.
Okay.
8 months. It will be
months
closed
to-
off.
What,
So you
what
won't
area
be-
of Dundas?
Pardon me?
What area of Dundas?
So Dundas Street, right? You know where the American House and Pickwick
Yeah.
Books,
So
that
what area of
intersection,
Dundas Street's the whole downtown will be closed for 8 months?
right at Mill Street. So where that bridge is when you're heading east,
Right.
okay, that bridge is going to be coming out.
Oh, okay.
And to replace that bridge and put a new bridge in, they are going to close down Dundas at Mill Street and at First Street for about 8 months. And that's going to happen in 2023. So
So the
know,
bypass
folks-
will be done by then, hopefully.
yes, it will be done by the end of 2022. As I say, it's going out for tender. It will be under construction. Once the tender comes in, the construction is slated to start in July, June or July.
Oh.
So we will basically be under construction for the next 4 to 5 years. And we have already been under construction
Yes.
for a couple of years.
And then is that it or more? Well, in 4 or 5
Well,
years.
Waterdown Road, that is also starting next year.
Okay.
So anybody that is using Waterdown Road right now as a route, either to get to work or get to the GO station, you got to find another route. And I can suggest Snake Road, Brant Street, or Highway 6. That will be your alternative. Because once Waterdown Road is under construction, it's also going to be closed. I believe in the fall, it's going to be closed for about 8 weeks.
Okay.
No, actually, it'll be August.
And that's to
It's going
widen
to
the
be
road?
closed for about 8 weeks because they're Halton. It is, and it's within the Burlington boundary, by the way. So anything south of Mountain Brow is in Burlington. And so they're going to be doing a major water main replacement to put in a bigger water main, and it's going to be right at Flat Road and Waterdown Road. So right where that school is.
Okay.
And that will be closed for about 8 weeks. So find another route. Then Waterdown Road itself is going to be widened to 3 lanes, I believe, on a 4-lane base. There will be bike lanes, and there will be, I believe, a multi-use path that can be down there. But there's also about 500 homes that are going in on the west side of Waterdown Road in Burlington. That whole open field right now that's being farmed, there's about 500 homes going in there.
Okay.
And that is probably going to start within the next 2 years. So they have got to get Waterdown Road built.
Definitely.
So it's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Find alternate routes.
Good stuff. Thank you for your time, Councillor.
Well, you know what? Thank you very much, Sean, and your family. You're keeping well. Everybody's
We're doing
healthy.
well. Yeah, the sun's
Good.
out, so we can go outside, which is nice.
Oh, that's super. Well, listen, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Good to see you. And please, if you've got any questions, call my office. We're still working. We're still there, and we're still here to serve you. Thank you very much.